Dun, 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 dun. I'm Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0, freedom-focused lifestyle design for men. Location-independent income through your own location-independent laptop-based Alpha 2.0 business that sets you free from your 9-to-5 job and the collapsing Western world, and no, Trump won't fix it. And dating multiple attractive women long-term with no lying, cheating, or drama. The freest lifestyle the modern day man has available to him in the collapsing era in which we live. Today, I'm going to discuss not only one of the most important topics in your woman life, but one of the most important topics of your entire life as a man. And this is the concept of Oneitis. And today I'm going to go in detail on how to manage this, how to avoid it, and if some cases, if you just can't stand it, alleviate it. This is one of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem for modern day men. Matter of fact, it is the biggest threat to modern day men. So it is very important that you understand what it is, that it is your default setting as a man, unfortunately, and how to avoid it and how to deal with it if you're already experiencing it. Matter of fact, I would estimate that a percentage of you, I would roughly estimate that, let's see, if I put a number on it, 30% of you listening to the sound of my voice right now are experiencing Oneitis right this minute. And that might be a low figure. Maybe it's 50. It sucks. So I'm going to talk today in detail about how to work this out. By the way, a lot of this I have pulled directly from one of my books, The Ultimate Open Relationships Manual, at haveopenrelationships.com. It's a book and it's a course. And that teaches you how to date women long-term with no lying, cheating, or drama, just like I always say at the beginning of these podcasts. And it goes into detail on things like Oneitis and jealousy management and how to structure relationships, the 9 cardinal rules, the 4 phases. I am, as far as I know, the only person on the entire internet who presents a system for men on how to date multiple women long-term, an actual system on how to do this. So it's truly one of a kind. So if you have any interest, you can go there. You can also go to store.calebjones.com, which has all my courses and coaching programs and things like that. Yes, you can still sign up for 9-Day Business Builder. Your deadline to actually sign up for that. You've lost out on some of the bonuses, but you can still sign up for that as long as you sign up before January 4th, because we start the curriculum on January 11th. So you can still sign up for that, 90daybizbuilder.com. Okay. Hang on a moment here. Man, it's so great. I've gotten so much good news last few days on various items. It's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get right into this. How to deal with Oneitis masterclass. You need this. The majority of you either are experiencing Oneitis right now, or have the propensity to do so, or have done so lately. I'm gonna go into detail about this. It is really important you get a handle on this. Oneitis is the greatest disadvantage of being a man. And if you're a true alpha male 2.0, you don't need to ever have Oneitis. I haven't. Not since my conversion to alpha male 2.0 almost 20 years ago. Cover that in detail in a second. Okay? All right, here we go. Oneitis is, and I say this, I've been saying this for 15 plus years, and sometimes people don't believe me or they're confused when I say this, but I am right. Oneitis is the single greatest threat to you as the modern day man. What? Yes. Bigger than anything else you can possibly fucking think of. I don't care what you're thinking of. No, Caleb, it's wokeism. No, Oneitis is a far bigger threat to you as an individual than wokeism or the collapse of the West or bad economy or crime or terrorism, or if you're a left-winger, climate change, all the things you think are big problems. Are problems, and you need to pay attention to these things, at least some of them. Oneitis is by far bigger than all those other things. There is nothing else bigger than that in terms of what is statistically likely to affect you negatively as a man in the modern era. Oneitis, period. That's it. Because unlike all these other problems, Oneitis attacks all of what I call your SLA, your 7 life areas. Oneitis attacks all the areas of your life equally instead of just 1 or 2, which is what most problems assault. So Oneitis can and will affect your job and your business. I have personally seen, and you have personally seen, and you've seen celebrities go through this, and people in the sports world go through this, and people in politics go through this, where they get one-itis, and it fucks up their career. It fucks up their job. They get fired, or they get in trouble with HR, or they get sued, or they go out of business, or they lose their business. I've seen it over and over again. Some dumbass guy gets one-itis for someone he shouldn't have, and he takes out his whole business. Your money and your investments. I have seen men piss away literally millions of dollars when they get one-itis. Now, most of you don't have millions of dollars, but I've seen it. I've seen men piss away what little money they have, their salaries, their retirements, their 401ks. Many of you worship a guy named Andrew Tate, who used to encourage beta males to give away their retirement funds to these webcam girls they had one-itis for. Okay? Nice guy. I'm glad you love him. So this affects this as well. Your money, your investments, your emotions, and your self-worth. Nothing will destroy your emotions and your feeling of a man and your confidence as a man and your self-esteem more than getting fucking one-itis. Especially if you get one-itis for a bitch, many of you have, or one-itis for a woman you're not even having sex with, either ever or anymore. I'll discuss that in a minute. Your family, your mom, your dad, your close family, your children, all one-itis will fuck all these. And I've seen this happen many. I've seen it ruin families. I've seen it ruin relationships with families when guys get fucking one-itis. Your health. I've seen guys gain weight when they get one. I mean, that's happened to me back when I was a beta male. Gain weight or I got one-itis. I've seen men get medical problems. I've seen men get into physical altercations and go to the hospital just because they have fucking one-itis. So it affects your health. Your friends. I have seen men lose lifetime long friends because they got fucking one-itis. Seen it. Kids, already mentioned that. Your reputation. You and I have both seen famous celebrities, public figures, actors, athletes, politicians ruin their reputation because they got one-itis for someone. And so on. There's no other problem I can think of that affects your entire life other than someone like shooting you in the head, but that's not statistically likely. It is statistically likely you're going to get one-itis because that's how men are That's how men are wired, excuse me. So we get to come up with a definition. I'm very specific about the definitions, the words that I use. If you want to go to alphamale2.0.com/glossary, I've updated that. Some of you asked for me to put that back, so I did that a few months ago. So all the terms that I use are in that glossary, including one-itis. Okay, now, one-itis. Here's the definition of one-itis. I'm going to read it right off the slide here. There's two definitions, just like in the dictionary. Definition one, and I'm going to go into more detail about this. Okay, I'm just the summary definition. So you understand when I say one-itis, because sometimes that word is thrown around and thrown on incorrectly, or at least in a too general term. I use very specific terms when I speak, when I say one-itis. Okay. Number one, a set of actions and behaviors, where actions and behaviors, not thoughts, cover that in a second, where a man does things in order to get one particular girl or woman, if you prefer that term, or not lose one particular girl. Sound familiar, you fucking pussy? At the expense of pursuing other girls and or at the expense of his own freedom and happiness. So you're doing things to get one girl, one particular isolated individual woman, or you're already seeing one and to not lose her at the expense of having sex with other women. You should be non-monogamous, or at the expense of your own happiness. You make yourself less happy by doing these things to get this one girl or to stay with this one girl. Classic example, the stay with one girl is the beta male husband with one-itis married to the total bitch. And they have sex 3 times a year, but he won't divorce her because he's such a puss. So he's miserable. But because he has one-itis, it's destroyed his life. All right, that's number one. Here's number two. Any non-minor compromise a man makes to a woman, so non-minor, minor compromises are okay, and in case of an OLTR, that's okay. But anything that is non-minor is a problem. Any non-minor compromise a man makes to a woman, either to get her or to not lose her, same model here, that will immediately or eventually, let me pause right there. Eventually, I will still get guys who say, Why would I want to fuck other girls? My girlfriend's so amazing. We fuck like 6 times a week and she gives me blowjobs. She's super hot. Why would I want to? I don't want to fuck other girls. You're not thinking about eventually. You're thinking about right now. Will she still be fucking you 6 years down the road, 5 times a week? No. Okay. Eventually, that will immediately or eventually restrict his freedom or damage his happiness. Because Oneitis compels you to do things that make you less happy and you less free. Alpha Male 2.0, the entire concept of Alpha Male 2.0 is masculine freedom, masculine long-term happiness. Therefore, Oneitis is fundamentally incompatible with Alpha Male 2.0. If you have Oneitis, you are not an Alpha Male 2.0. You have more growth to go through. Okay. And so I have an example. Example, a man promising to always pick up his socks or keep the TV at a certain volume is not necessarily Oneitis. If you promise your wife this in a case of a live-in OLTR, because that's probably okay. But a man with a healthy sex drive promising to never get sexual with any other woman just to get this one girl, to keep this one girl, which is stupid, is certainly Oneitis as defined here, since eventually, that promise will make him less free and less happy. How many high sex drive men, how many alpha male 1.0s, how many players, how many pickup artists, how many red pill guys commit to monogamy just because they don't want to lose this one girl because they have fucking Oneitis, and then they go, oh shit. A week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, they go, oh no, I can't fuck other girls anymore. Oh, and then they cheat behind her back, and then they get caught, and there's all kinds of explosions. Okay. Oneitis is action, not thoughts. Thoughts are okay. Now, the reason I bring that up is a lot of guys will say to me, hey, oh no, Caleb, I think I'm getting Oneitis because I have Oneitis. Oh no, because there's this new girl and I think about her all the time. And I just think about like, maybe we should get married. And I just, she's constantly on my mind and I'm jerking off thinking about her. And, oh, I think I have Oneitis. And I'll say, are you seeing her more than once a week? No. Have you committed to monogamy? No. Are you fucking other girls? Yes. Are you following the cardinal rules? Yes. Are you giving her a bunch of money? No. Are you spending more money? No. You doing boyfriend behaviors? No. It's not Oneitis. You can think whatever you want. Oneitis is a set of actions. It's things you do, not things you think. If you meet a new woman you're excited about, that's great. Enjoy it. That's called NRE. That's fine. Feelings are okay. We like positive feelings. That's fine. Don't act on them. That's when you act. As soon as you act on the feelings, now you have Oneitis and you're a pussy and you've just fucked up your life. So you can think whatever you like. It's similar with sexual fantasies. Have any sexual fantasies you want. Now, some things you can't do in certain countries, right? But you can think anything you want. When you act on it, now you're a psycho or you're a criminal, one of the two. Right? Very important to understand, and men do not know this, and even in a post-red pill world, we live in a post-masculine world, actually, but even in a world where red pill exists, men still don't understand this, most men. Oneitis is men's default setting. It is how you are wired from 100,000, 150,000, really, years of evolution from when we were cavemen. It's how you're wired. You are wired in some ways to get Oneitis when you start having sex or meet a girl who is, quote, my favorite quote, not like the rest. That is your default position as a man. So the good news is if you have Oneitis, congratulations, you're normal. The bad news is you can't have Oneitis if you want to be happy long-term. You have to permanently, surgically remove Oneitis from your psyche like I did about 20 years ago. I have not had Oneitis for a woman since my conversion to Alpha Male 2.0 coming up on 18 years ago, February of 2007. So I'm about to celebrate my 18th year anniversary as an Alpha Male 2.0. Since then, I have not had Oneitis. Now, prior to that, when I was a beta male, I had Oneitis all the goddamn time. All through high school, I had Oneitis from somebody. But in my 20s, I had Oneitis. And I got married and because I was operating at default. I was operating based on my OBW and my biological urges and not strategically as a man who wanted to be long-term happy. Okay? Women, generally speaking, yes, there are exceptions, do not have this problem. Do women get Oneitis? No, they don't. They don't. Are there exceptions where women can get Oneitis for a guy? Yes, there are always exceptions when you discuss human beings. Exception prove the rule. Most women do not have this problem. So this is a man problem. That's why you've never talked about wontitis as applied to a woman, right? So women don't get wontitis. Now, women have other problems. I could do a whole podcast, and I've done many podcasts and many articles on my blogs about the problems when you're a woman. There's all kinds of them, but wontitis isn't one of them. That's just a man problem. Most women don't have this problem and never get wontitis for anyone. Correct. But a man gets wontitis by default. That is your default setting. Be aware of this. Next one, point of confusion. I'm addressing the confusion points, so we'll get into specific techniques and mindsets in a second. Okay. Oneitis is not love. That confuses a lot of people, both men and women, when you talk about this topic of oneitis. Oneitis is not love. Number one. Number two, oneitis is not required for love. Some people seem to think that if you settle down with a woman and you marry her, hopefully under an OLTR model, live with her full time or whatever, or long-term girlfriend or dual live-in relationship or whatever that is, PDM, whatever, okay, that you have to have oneitis because you love her. I mean, you have to. I mean, she has to. How is she going to have kids if you don't have oneitis for? No, you idiot. No, no, no. You can be totally and completely for real in love with a woman at a deep and profound spiritual level and have zero oneitis for her. Case in point, me and Pink Firefly. Pink Firefly, I've been saying this for over 10 years. I'm going to keep saying this. I love Pink Firefly, my OLTR wife, now PDM. I love her more than I've ever loved a woman in my entire life. The love I have for her goes into the spiritual realm. That's how deeply I love her. And I always have for over 10 years now. I don't have oneitis for her, and I never have had oneitis for her. I've always said all along, if she starts giving me drama, she's out the door. And that happened last year, and look what happened. Okay? So you can totally love a woman and not have any oneitis. That is the final level in the video game in terms of emotional growth for the alpha male 2.0. To completely and totally adore and love the fuck out of a woman. For real. In addition to be sexually attracted to her. She's my version of a 10. She's my archetype of the perfect woman in terms of physicality. In addition to me loving her. Still don't have one drop of oneitis. And she's always known that. She's always known, no matter how much Caleb loves me, if I start giving him shit, well, I risk the marriage or I risk living together. She's known this. So no, this is not love and is not required for love. Wrong. No, 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 no. You can be a loving husband, boyfriend, or OLTR without having any oneitis. Now, there's a few of you who are at that level that I am. Great. You have a girlfriend or an OLTR wife or something similar, and you love her to death. You may even have kids, but you don't have oneitis for her. You will kick her out of your house if she gives you any bullshit. Good. Alpha male 2.0, excellent. Oneitis is not love. I have right here in big red letters. Oneitis is a fucking cancer, and you don't want any of it, even if you are in love. Period. I don't care what relationship type it is. FB, MLTR, high-end MLTR, OLTR, PDM. I guess we could talk about monogamy, but we'll talk about that in a second. It doesn't matter. No oneitis is ever allowed, nor needed. If you think something like oneitis is needed, you're either a woman, because women will argue this. Women will absolutely argue this. They'll say, you got to put up with a woman's shit forever because you're married. That's what marriage means. And that's what love means. Okay. You're either a woman or you're a very confused, societally brainwashed beta male. Okay. Or in some cases, alpha 1.0 who succumbs to oneitis. I'll talk about that in a second. Right? All men, except alpha male 2.0s, and there aren't very many of us in the world, get oneitis. All of them. Beta males obviously get oneitis. Obviously. Matter of fact, I've talked about how oneitis is a man's default setting, but beta males live a life of either constant oneitis or constant incelism. Either they live a life of constant no sex and I hate women, or they're constantly in love with somebody, especially women they've never fucked. They constantly have this big crush on somebody, constantly. That's how I was, and many of you were when you were a little kid. So when I was a little kid, starting at age 5, when I was in kindergarten, no, 4, let's see. Yes, 5. When I was in kindergarten, and those of you who don't know in American school system, that is the grade for 5-year-olds. Then you start grammar school, and that's first grade when you're 6. Starting at age 5, I had one-itis all the way until my 30. Let me say this differently. I experienced consistent one-itis from age 5 to age 33. Not quite 33. Let's say 29, about halfway to my marriage, my first marriage, my monogamous marriage. So at all points, age 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I had a huge crush for some girl. Starting when I was in kindergarten, there was a little girl named Debbie, and I was 5 and she was 5. It's a big crush on Debbie. And then there was a girl named Carrie when I was in first grade. I had a big crush on her for about 4 years. Now, that's okay when you're a little kid, but then in high school, I had a crush on a girl for 3 out of the 4 years, and there were a bunch of other girls I could have had sex with and could have dated. But because I had a crush on, her name was Natalie, I didn't take that opportunity. Or I took a few of them, but I never had sex. It's a problem. So in other words, beta males are accustomed to having one-itis because they have it all the time. The exception would be the incels, the angry guys in the basement who don't have sex. They hate women, and okay, they don't. But normal beta males do. Okay, now, alpha male 1.0s. I've talked about this many times. Alpha male 1.0s get one-itis too. There's some people who think, well, if you're an alpha male, you won't get one-itis. Bullshit. I have said this many times. I've described this many times. I've shown examples of this. I've seen this happen in the red pill world, the pickup artist world when I came out of. Personal friends I know. Some of you have done this. You're alpha male 1.0s or you have alpha male 1.0 friends. Alpha male 1.0s get laid a lot. They bang a bunch of girls. Then what happens is one girl comes along who's not like the rest, TM. And then they get, boom, massive one-itis. I've said many times that alpha male 1.0s not only get one-itis, but when they get it more intensely and stronger than beta males do. So because beta males are used to having one-itis, they're accustomed to it. They just, when they get one-itis for a new girl, they're like, yeah, that's how their subconscious brain said, yep, that's how you are. You have one-itis for her now. But when an alpha male 1.0 player, pickup artist, red pill guy, celebrity, whatever, when he gets one-itis, it just smacks him in the face because he's not used to the feeling. He used to being the man and banging all these girls. So he turns into a total pussy. Will Smith, good example of a celebrity alpha male 1.0 who got smacked by one-itis and still to this day is. Gene Simmons, who was one of my heroes prior to 2011, was great for most of his life until his 60s, and then he got smacked by one-itis, and it transformed his entire thing, his entire relationship life, didn't it? And his entire rhetoric and everything. Okay? I could list, 100 examples of strong, powerful, good-looking, confident, woman-experienced guys who get laid a lot, alpha male 1.0s or similar, who get destroyed or wiped out by one-itis. So don't think that you're immune to one-itis if you're an alpha male 1.0. Bullshit. If you have one-itis right now and you're an alpha male 1.0, you've got it worse than betas do. I saw this back in the pickup artist days when I was in that world. These pickup artists would bang all these girls and make fun of AFCs. That's what we used to call beta males back then. And then suddenly, one day, some smoking, amazing girl would come by who is not like, Caleb, you understand, she's not like the rest. Caleb, I fucked 142 girls, and she's not like any of them. And they just get smacked by one-itis, and they turn into total pussies overnight. And they get monogamous, and they cheat, and it blows up in their face, and they get women pregnant, and they put up all this drama, and some of them go to jail, and it's a nightmare. Okay. Not good. Hang on a second, we check the technology here. Okay. There are 3 types of one-itis. Most one-itis is type 1. I'll discuss these 3, but I'm going to list them all in order of commonality. The first type of one-itis, which is the most common type by far, is relationship one-itis. And that is when you have one-itis with a woman you aren't currently in a relationship with. You're married to her, or she's your girlfriend, or MLTR, or something. You probably don't have one-itis for an FB. But MLTR, girlfriend, OLTR, OLTR wife, monogamous girlfriend. That's the most common type is relationship oneitis. The next common type is dumped guy oneitis. These are guys who their girlfriend or wife dumps their dumbasses, and then they have oneitis for their ex, and they go, and they cry, and I want my ex back, and Caleb, I fucked 3 other girls, and none of them are as perfect as my ex-girlfriend who dumped me last year. Those guys, those guys. Some of you are in that category. Oneitis number 3, friend zone oneitis. This is when you have a crush, a girl crush. You got a crush on a girl. You're usually a total pussy beta. You got this big crush on a girl who's not even interested in you. You want to fuck her. You can't because she doesn't know you exist, or you're in friend zone, and you don't pursue other women because you're too stressed out and focused on her, which was me and many of you in high school when we were kids, and many guys in their 20s, and many guys in their 30s. And God forbid, holy fuck, some guys in their 40s. Not that many, but some. I've seen it. Here's how you defeat oneitis. You defeat oneitis with, I see a lot of good questions. I'll answer those at the end. You defeat oneitis with the 5 mindsets and the 7 actions. And I have 2 bonus actions at the end of this. So here we get into tactics now. So first we get into mindsets, which very few men have. And then you get into the actions. And this is why I don't get oneitis. I haven't had oneitis in almost 20 years. And I have had oneitis almost 20 years. On top of the fact, pink fireflies in my life, and that's been for 10 years. On top of the fact that I have dated and been in relationships with some of the most amazing women on earth. I don't mean just hot. I mean amazing people. Women who would make amazing wives, girlfriends, low drama, amazing women. Didn't get oneitis for any of them, and never will. Because I want to be happy. So here we go. Mindset number 1. She's not the one. She's one of many. When men get oneitis, they lose touch with the reality that there are several 100,000 other women in a 50-mile driving radius of your home who are just as good as her, if not more so. I will give you demonstrate this in a moment. One of my favorite exercises I like to do when I do live seminars. I'm going to do this right now with you guys, okay, to demonstrate this. Women don't have this problem. Women always know, if I dump this guy, I have a line of 100 other guys who want to fuck me. Even fat girls, even ugly girls know, even older women, they know they can replace men very quickly. Women know men are replaceable because they are to women. Men, including alpha male 1.0s, forget this. They forget there's hundreds of thousands, thousands and thousands and thousands of other women out there in their city, in their local area, not on some other country in this other planet, in their city, who are just as hot, just as smart, just as fun, just as amazing as her. But no. They're going to ignore these other 100,000 girls and just focus on this one because you're insane. Okay, let me go through this exercise with you. If you've ever been in any one of my live seminars, you know where I'm going with this. I used to draw this out. Still do sometimes. Let's do this little exercise with me right now. You ready for this? I want you to, first of all, I'm assuming you live in or near a major city. There's a small percentage of you who live way out in the middle of nowhere. This doesn't apply to you. But the other 99, 95% of you live near or in a major city, right? Right. What you should do is go to Wikipedia and look up the population, metro area population of your city. Not the population. You don't just Google population Chicago. That's going to give you the population of the district of Chicago inside the city. It's not going to give you a measurement of the Chicago area. The real number is the number of women, number of people you can access within an hour drive of your home. That's your entire area, your entire metro area. So when you look at Wikipedia for city population numbers, it'll say like regional, population, district, and metro. You want to look at the metro number, which is the biggest number. Okay. So I used to do this when I used to live in Portland, Oregon. I used to do this. Let's see if I can remember the numbers. Back then when I used to do this, the population is a little bigger now. Maybe not. Maybe people are leaving. But the metro population area of Portland, Oregon was something like, I think, 2.2 million people. So replace that with your city. Most of you live in cities much bigger than Portland. I live in Dubai right now. That's way bigger than Portland. Almost double the size. Okay. So let's say let's use easy math. Let's say you only have 2 million people in your city. Okay? Half of those are women, right? So we deduct the men. So now we're down to 1 million people. Let's say, and this is not the case, I'm being very, very liberal about this. Let's say that 90% of those women in your city, 90%, you would never have sex with. They're too young or too old or too ugly or too fat or too married. Okay? Now that's not true. It's it's less than 90%, but I'm being nice and saying 90%. So that means 10% are women you would fuck and enjoy it. Okay? 10% of 1 million is 100,000 women. 100,000 women within a radius, driving radius of your home. Easy access with a car or a taxi or whatever. Now you might say, well, Caleb, not all those women will be as amazing as like a potential girlfriend or wife. Okay, fine. You're right. They won't. A lot of them will be, though. It's not like 2% of those women. It's going to be like 20 or 30% of those women. It's going to be thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of women. So 100,000 women you would hook up with, and maybe 20, 30,000 women you date, or 40,000, whatever. And again, that's if you live in fucking a podunk 2 million metro area city. Most of you live in cities with like 5 million, 4 million, 9 million, 12 million, don't you? Okay? Do you see how insane this is? How insane Oneitis is when you're consumed with one girl, one woman? But Caleb, we've been married for 6 years. So there's thousands of other women you could marry. If she died tomorrow, you would find another one, and you might like her even better. True or false? I know this is not romantic, but it's the reality. We're not dealing with feelings and romance here. We're dealing with reality and data and facts. But I'm emotional. And yeah, we're trying to manage these emotions. That's the whole point of these mindsets. So remind yourself. She's not the one. She's one of many. Are you saying you would like divorce Pink Firefly and just pick another girl? Yes. Yes, you pussy. Yes. Even though I love her. Yes. Yes. Now you're getting it. All right. Mindset number 2. This is likely, not always, but likely just NRE. NRE is new relationship energy. This is the honeymoon period that lasts several months when you meet someone new, when you start dating a new woman who's fucking amazing. And guys get instant Oneitis. I have talked to men and I hate to say this, it hurts my heart to say this. There are men in my audience who know my material, who have said, oh my God, I met this girl. We went on 3 dates and I'm going to make her my OL. I'm going to make her my girlfriend. We should get married. Okay. That's NRE, which converts into Oneitis. So NRE is temporary. Okay. So remind yourself, this is probably just NRE. NRE is temporary. You're not going to feel the same way about her a year from now. Probably not. Just remind yourself. Mindset number 3. She won't be around forever, you fucking moron. I've quoted the statistics. I can quote them again. You don't want me to because it'll make you mad. Why are you consumed with this woman who probably are not going to be around forever? Not probably, most likely. FBs, MLTRs, OLTRs, and girlfriends and wives do not last forever. They eventually leave your dumbass, with very rare exception. And it's how women are wired. Women are biologically wired to leave men they are fucking. I've discussed why in detail in my books and my blogs. Go read them. They are biologically wired to do this. Doesn't make them evil or bad. It makes them women. You're biologically wired to want to fuck multiple women. Does that make you a barbarian or a pig or childish like women? No, it makes you a man. Women are wired to leave guys. That's how they are. Are there rare exceptions? Yes. The real divorce rate I used to quote as around 76%. It's gone up. Now, to be clear, the divorce rate I'm referring to is the only one that matters. The divorce rate among people who actually get married. Not the per capita divorce rate. That's gone down. Why? Because less people are getting married. Duh. But the people who get married, divorce rate's gone up. People who move in together and don't get married, the breakup rate of those people has gone up. You're looking at a divorce rate of well over 80%, a real divorce rate in the Western world. 80%. Western world. Now, those of you not in the West, has divorces gone up in your country the past 20 years? Oh, yeah. No matter where you live, including places like India. We used to talk on my blogs 15, 20 years ago about India had a 1% divorce rate. Not anymore. Divorce rates are increasing all over the planet Earth. And certainly in the West. The West is the highest. Everyone's copying the West. So she's not going to be around forever. Don't assume that. If she is, its odds are very low. Possible, but all right, next one. Mindset number 4. This is another big one. And this one relates to politics, to collapse the West, to people, feelings about people in your family, coworkers, friends. This applies to all things. All of your emotions come from one place. They come from inside you. They don't come from Kamala Harris. They don't come from Donald Trump. They don't come from your asshole boss. They don't come from your bitchy mom. They don't. They don't come from your ex-wife. They don't. Whoever you hate, have a problem with, they don't come from that person. That person isn't making you have feelings. You are making you have feelings. Feelings come from you. No one, it's not like people beam lasers out of their eyes like Superman and they beam in anger emotions into your heart. They don't beam in emotions and make you feel needy or make you feel scared or make you feel nervous or make you feel angry. People don't beam anger into you. You feel anger because that's how you are. Okay? Or whatever. It doesn't matter. We have a common phrase in society. People say this all the time. You make me so mad. False. Empirically incorrect. That person didn't make you mad. You made you mad. How do we know this? Because if that person did the same thing to me, I wouldn't get mad. I don't get mad. You get mad all the time. I don't get mad at the same scenario. Therefore, it's not coming from that person. It's coming from you. If you get mad about shit, that's on you, not other people. No, it's not. You don't understand. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what the scenario is. Well, I had a partner. He ripped off half my life, took my retirement. I don't care. Anger came from you. Well, my wife, cheated on me. I divorced and took my kids. I don't care. Don't care. Well, my boss screwed me. Don't care. These feelings come from you. Because in the same exact scenario, someone else might not get as mad at you or might not even get mad at all, including me. Feelings come from you. They don't come from other people. I know it feels good to make it feel like feelings come from other people, but they don't. So people will say, you make me so mad, or he makes me so mad. No one ever says, you make me nice. No one ever says this. You make me have a great day today. Only negative emotions we assign to other people, but positive stuff are from us, right? You're so full of shit. No. That's you, and therefore you have control over your feelings. You have control over your Oneitis. Oneitis is a feeling, just like any other feeling, that you have control over. In my books, specifically The Unchained Man, the brand new version is at alphamale.book.com. You should go get it and read it right now if you haven't yet. I talk about emotional control, a core aspect of happiness, and Alpha Male 2.0. Exert some goddamn emotional control. I have said this before, and I'll say this again. If every human being on the entire planet Earth, whenever something happened to make them mad, either in real life or a comment they read on the internet or something they see on the news or something someone says, something happens in the car, doesn't matter. If every human being just stopped, pause, and take 3 deep breaths, the world would turn into a paradise within 24 hours. Not perfect, but it'd be a paradise. If people just did that, exert a little goddamn emotional control, which they don't want to do, whenever they got mad, including you, motherfucker. Also, it's also about self-awareness too. Mindset number 5. All these feelings are just a few squirts of chemicals in your stupid chimpanzee brain. That's what these feelings are. That's what feelings are. Oneitis, anger, love. Oneitis is literally a few squirts of chemicals that you could fit in a small syringe, squirted into your brain. Human beings and chimpanzees, look this up if you don't believe me, are only 1% different in their DNA. You are only 1% different from a fucking chimpanzee. You are. Now, that doesn't mean to depress you. I'm aware of this. That doesn't bother me. I don't care. Chimpanzees are funny. Humans are really funny. That's why we have things like tribalism, because we're chimpanzees. Okay. I and you are 1% off of a chimpanzee. So this feelings of oneitis, we're like, oh, I love her, but I hope she doesn't leave. I hope she doesn't leave me. I couldn't handle it. Oh my God, that's all I think about. It's a little squirt of chemicals in your brain. That's all it is. It is not love or destiny or soulmates or any of that happy horse shit. It's not. It's chemicals in your brain that don't last forever. So you're destroying your life, ruining your feelings, and destroying your self-esteem, and fucking up your finances, and fuck up your family for a few squirts of chemicals in your brain. Does that sound smart to you? Sounds pretty stupid to me. It's all OBW for when you were a caveman. Again, like I said, 150,000 years ago. I've talked about this in my books. Men are wired to believe that women or young women or sexually attractive women are a scarce commodity. Is that true? And they were 150,000 years ago when you were a caveman in this cave with a little loincloth and you're in a tribe of 25 people. That was very scarce. Is that true today? No. Go to a mall and look around. Go on Instagram, go on any dating app and look around. Lots of attractive women there, right? Right. Either cute or hot. And a lot of average women that you'd hook up with, but I'll talk about that in a second. Keep this shit in perspective. Okay. Now, that's the mindset. So let's talk about the 7 actions for oneitis. Action number 1. These are listed in no particular order, by the way. Set some exciting goals that have nothing to do with women, that are exciting to you, and remind yourself of them often. Now, this is a default thing for me, since I was 17 years old. So I've always had lots of goals, and I've had some woman goals, but most of my goals have nothing to do with women, including especially today. None of my goals have anything to do with women today. They haven't for a long time. By the way, this is December. I don't know when you're listening to this, but if you're listening to this live or recent, December is a great time to plan your goals. We have a live stream coming up at the Unchained CEO channel, which you should watch, on how to plan your year and how to plan your quarter. I'm going to go into detail about how to do it. I think that's next week. So it's a great time to do this. Moreover, you can't just set goals. You can't be like a New Year's resolution person. You have a New Year's resolution, and then by February, you've forgotten about it. You have to have a system in place to remind yourself of your goals and get in touch with your spirit and or your feelings, your emotions, to touch those goals. So I plan my week once a week, usually every Sunday. Part of my weekly procedure is that I look at a bunch of images that represent my goals. So here's what I do really quick. I look at a bunch of images that represent my goals, okay? And I've done this forever, okay? Then I will read a document about my goals. Then I will have a spreadsheet of my ideal financial life, and I'll read through that as if it's real, and I'll actually feel it. So I don't ever forget any of my goals. If you ask me right now, if I go to sleep, which I will in a little bit here because it's late in Dubai, you wake me up in the middle of the night, shake me, I'm half asleep. Say, Caleb, what are your top 3 goals? Boom, I'll rattle them off right there. I know exactly what they are. I have the exact down to the detail, dude, because I review them all the time. And I've always had this, which is one of the reasons I don't get oneitis. I focus on other things besides pussy, or besides this one pussy, which is what oneitis is. Action number 2. If you are over the age of 30, if you're under the age of 30, you can't do this, it's okay. Wait, you're 30. But if you're over the age of 30, mission. Develop a mission, a mission, a mission. If you have a mission similar to goals, the odds of you getting oneitis are less likely. Men who get oneitis are usually men with nothing else going on big in their lives. I've said this many times. The typical guy who goes to his bullshit 9-to-5 job and he goes home and he watches Netflix and plays video games, smoke weed, and that's his whole life. Of course you're going to get oneitis when some cute girl with big tits comes along. Of course you are. You got nothing else going on, dude. You know how much I have going on in my life right now that has nothing to do with women? Do you have any idea? All the shit that is going on in my life right now, 95%, 90% of which is positive, all the things that are going on that have nothing to do with chicks, it's great. It's very hard for me to get oneitis because I have so much shit on my plate, so much things I'm involved in that are exciting to me and have meaning to me, including my mission. So develop a mission. Get the Unchained Man book, alphamalebook.com. It's pretty cheap. Go get it and read it. There's specific instructions there on how to build a mission. If you're age 30 or over, if you're under the age of 30, double down on what I just said earlier about setting goals that have to do with women. Okay. My big goal in my 20s, I've said this many times, I set a goal when I was 18 to make $100,000 a year. This was 1990s dollars back then. $100,000 a year, my own business, but within 10 years. So by age 28, I was 1 year early, hit it by 27. And I was consumed with that goal. Consumed. And I got goals I'm more consumed with now than I ever was back in my 20s. 2 or 3 of them. Action number 3. I've talked about this many times. This is also an Alpha Male 2.0 baseline. You must exercise hard at least once every 48 hours. Hard. There's a big thing now about walking and going for walks, and that's fine, but that's not ideal. Going outside, going for a walk is a great idea. I do it all the time myself. But I exercise hard. Cardio, weights, whatever. Okay? When I say hard, that means you are sweating a lot. And if you're doing cardio, you can't carry on a conversation. You're that's hard. You don't want to be these chicks at the gym on the treadmill and they're talking to their friend and they're on their phone and they're just walking. And no. Better than nothing. Yes. Yes. Exercise hard at least once every 48 hours. That's about 3 or 4 times a week. When you exercise more often, you have endorphins and you have more oxygen to the brain, which means you're less needy, generally speaking. Now, other fitness guys who exercise all the time who get Oneitis, of course there are. This will help in addition to everything else we're talking about. Okay? Don't get hung up for the purposes of Oneitis prevention. Don't get hung up on what type of exercise. Okay, I'm not a fitness guy, obviously. Cardio, weights, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Just sweat hard. Hard. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever. Okay? Action number 4. This, again, is a big Alpha Male 2.0 baseline and one of the greatest baselines of my Alpha Male 2.0 life in the last 18 years because I learned as a beta male to fuck this one up. Action number 4. Never, ever, ever allow too much time to go without having any sex. When you go without sex for months or, God forbid, you fucking morons, years, the odds of you getting Oneitis skyrocket. This is why it's so dangerous for recently divorced men to get into a relationship. If you get out of divorce, one of my rules is you do not have any serious relationships for at least a year if you're going through a divorce. Because you've been a beta male forever and you've been monogamous and you're not equipped. You've been in this desert and you're starving and you're going to fuck it up. You get FBs. So, very important. Never, ever. And this is, again, this goes back to players and pickup artists. When I was in the pickup artist world many years ago on the forums, I would regularly see pickup artists talk about they have dry spells. Yeah, I'm going through a dry spell now, having sex in 5 months. You're insane, you idiot. They go from fucking 30 women in like 3 months or whatever to having a dry spell because they're busy with work or they have to travel or no. You are leaving the doors wide open to Oneitis when you do this. In addition to 10 other problems, which I've already discussed in other books, but right now we're talking about Oneitis. Okay? 30 days, you're in a danger zone. For most men, not all men, but for most. For most guys, if you go without sex for 30 days, you're in a danger area. It's not horrible, but you're in a danger zone. Less than 30 days is fine. Sometimes people have those things. That's okay. I don't go more than 30 days. I don't go without a week, bro. Okay. Let me say this really quick. I've said this a few times. I brag about this, but it's true. Since my conversion to Alpha Male 2.0, 18 years ago, there has only been 2 scenarios in my entire life where I went without sex for 30 days, and both of these were over 15 years ago. And it was like 31 and 32 days. The first scenario was in December, coincidentally, in Portland, Oregon. And we had this huge snowstorm that hit the city, and you were basically like trapped in your house for a week. I couldn't go anywhere for a week. No one could. Very few people could go anywhere. And it was like that. And then it was icy after that. And then we had Christmas, and you can't date during Christmas week. in the West, in the Northern Hemisphere. So I went 30 days without having sex. That was like 2009, I think. It was a long fucking time ago. Then around 2000, I think 11, I went on this whirlwind Asia trip where I was in a few cities at a time, just for a few days at a time, and didn't have sex for a month. I think it was like 32 days. That's it. Other than that, I've gotten laid multiple times within every 30 days for 18 years straight. If I can do it, you can do it. No excuses. By the way, this applies to you guys who are single and hooking up, and you guys who are married. Well, I'm married. Okay, dumbass. That's not an excuse. You're married. You haven't sex for 4 months because you're married to a frigid bitch and you were stupid enough to commit to monogamy. Guess what you need to do? Time to get divorced or buy my book / course on how to convert your marriage to a non-monogamous marriage. Store.calebjones.com. Lots of resources there for you. Okay? No excuses about this. I don't care what your fucking excuses are. The only excuse you have is if you are physically unable to have sex. Fine. You're literally bedridden for a month. Okay. How often does that happen? Yeah. See my point? No excuses. At 6 weeks, you're in big trouble. You go past 6 weeks, now you're big, because now you're developing a pattern of behavior for your body. You're like, okay, I just don't have sex anymore for the time being. Bad. Bullshit excuses don't matter. Okay. Action number 5. The parallel to action number 4. Always be having sex with at least 2 different women. Now, there's 2 pieces to this. Okay. A, that means you're always having sex. So we already covered that. You don't not have sex for 5 months. That's insanity. You want to get oneitis, go ahead, not have sex for 5 months, then hook up with someone who's cute. You'll get instant oneitis because you're a moron. Okay. So A, you're having sex regularly. B, you're having sex with at least 2 women. Otherwise, you are having sex with 1 woman. What is that called? That's called monogamy. Now, why is that a problem? Monogamy is a oneitis factory. Monogamy creates the conditions under which oneitis flourishes. It is, I have it right here. It is almost impossible to be monogamous without also having oneitis if you're a man. Here's the comparison I've used. You remember when you went to college? I didn't go to college, but I was a talented and gifted, smart kids. They sent me these little college things before I was in college. We did this. Those little Petri dishes they have with the little like gel inside them, and like you stick your thumb in them, and you have bacteria in your hands, right? And they put it away in like this refrigerator for 3 days. You come back and the bacteria is like blossomed and multiplied. There's bacteria and gross shit all over the place because that Petri dish is an environment where the bacteria multiplies and grows. That's monogamy to oneitis. If you're monogamous, I'm not saying you're guaranteed to have oneitis, but pretty close, because you put yourself in an environment where only 1 woman satisfies your sexual needs, your emotional needs, and all that other stuff. So, of course, it would be very difficult to not get oneitis, no matter how cool you think you are. So you cannot be monogamous, including de facto monogamous. You will get oneitis. Always be having sex with at least 2 women. I say 2 because when I say non-monogamy or whatever, people will say, well, I can't fuck 12 different girls. I don't have time for that. 2, you dumb fuck. 2. What have I said for 20 years? 1 MLTR and 1 FB on the side is doable by any man listening to the sound of my voice. Is that hard? No, it's 2 girls. 1 main one and 1 on the side. You can do that. No excuses. Not having any sex is also a oneitis factory, to repeat what I said a minute ago on the prior slide. So not having sex creates oneitis. Only having sex with 1 woman creates oneitis. Therefore, the answer is always be having sex with 2 or more. Alpha male 2.0 minimum. Those of you who have been around for a while, you know this already. The alpha male 2.0 minimum is you must be having sex with at least 2 women every 6 weeks. That's it. If you have sex with at least 2 women every 6 weeks, you're covered. And you're covered for all kinds of problems, not just oneitis, but 10 other problems I could list. That's it. I'm not saying you need to be a maniac and fuck 10 women a week. No one's saying this. I don't do that. I've done it. I don't do that now. Action number 6. This is another piggyback on the last 2. You need to avoid the average woman habit. Let me explain what that is. There's a percentage of you, not most of you, but there is a decent percentage of you who you know how to get laid. You're good at getting laid. You get laid quite a bit with multiple women, but all the women, or damn near all the women, are, according to you, not me, you, ugly or average looking. I've known guys back when you used to do Craigslist. You can't anymore, but Craigslist game, these guys would bang tons of chicks, but they were all ugly. And I'm not saying it. They were saying, oh yeah, they're ugly. I've known guys who bang tons of girls, tons, 100 plus, but they're all ugly. And these guys say, oh yeah, she's ugly. Oh, I hooked up this chick last night. It was great. Like, was she hot? Oh no, she's ugly as fuck. Okay. The problem with doing that is, hey, at least you're getting laid. So that's good. Okay. It's less bad than the incel or the monogamous guy. I agree with that. So let me state that for the record. If you're having sex with multiple women and they're all average looking or ugly to you, I agree with you. That is less bad than the incel who's not getting laid, the MGTOW who's not getting laid, or the monogamous beta male who has the monogamous bitchy wife or bitchy girlfriend. I agree with you. It's still not ideal. It's not good. If all or most of the women you have sex with are average or ugly to you, here's what happens. And I have seen this happen over and over and over and over and over again, including with many of you. As soon as you have sex with a girl who's actually hot, boom, instant oneitis. Instant oneitis. Because you're used to fucking ugly girls or fat girls or whatever. And you fuck one cute girl who's hot, boom, she owns your balls. You can't do that. One of the many reasons why, way back in 2007, when I made this conversion in my life from beta male to alpha male 2.0, I made a pact with myself. And I said, I'm only going to date women who are 8s or higher to me. I said this in February of 2007 when I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And it kind of worked. Not 100%, but damn near. And one of the reasons I did that is because I was aware of this dynamic. I did not want to have sex with a bunch of normal girls. Then some hot girl comes along, and then I'm like a puppy dog around her because she's so hot. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want a woman's beauty to have any undue influence over me. And boy, that worked out for me. Worked great. Keep decently high standards for all of the women you sleep with. And so in my world, there are 4 levels of physical attractiveness: ugly, average, cute, or hot. Make sure all the women you have sex with rare exception, are cute or hot. You don't have to have supermodels. You don't have to have Instagram models. You don't have to bang 10s. Cute, 7 to you. Depends. Every guy's different about this. At least you know what cute means to you. Cute. Oh, she's cute. That. If you're like, she's okay. No. Or she's ugly, but you're horny. No. I've turned down sex from women more than once because they weren't at least an 8 to me. I've done it. Matter of fact, it happened recently. Okay? All right. Action number 7. Very big topic, a little outside the scope of this, but I'm just going to mention it really quick here. Your hormones may be out of whack. Matter of fact, they likely are. I've talked about this a lot. So what you need to do is get a blood test. And the 4 standard hormones you need to check in alpha male 2, but I've talked about this many times. Testosterone, both free and total. Estrogen, which is usually called estradiol on a blood test. Thyroid, which is on a blood test called T3. Sometimes you get T4 and TSH. Those are less important. T3 is the important one. And vitamin D. Those are hormones. Vitamin D is actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone. So you check those hormones and make sure they're in the correct levels. I have lots of podcasts and other stuff you can look up on what these levels should be. Go back through my podcasts or YouTube videos and blogs. Okay? I go into great detail about these things. Check those out. Often, if your hormones are too high or too low, creates more neediness, which creates a door open for a oneitis. One of the many reasons I ever got oneitis is my hormones have been fucking perfect since I started going on TRT. So when was that? When I was 44-ish. So almost 10 years. I'm about to turn 53. Yeah, helps a lot. All right. Give you 2 bonus actions, and I'll answer your questions. Bonus action number 1. If nothing else works, you probably need to see a therapist. You probably have some fucked up shit from your childhood or your adolescence or your early adulthood, and it's fucked you up mentally, and you need help. Don't make excuses about this. Well, I don't want to see a therapist. Well, she'll probably be a feminist. Well, I saw therapists before, Caleb, but I saw, and they were terrible. It didn't work. Okay, dumb fuck. If I had a problem in my life that was making me unhappy and I need to see a therapist to fix it, I would be making that appointment tomorrow. I mean, today. I'd be on the phone today. There's a lot of resources because most people are in therapy now because of the collapse of the Western world. Talk to somebody. I'm not saying you need to do this. I'm saying there is a percentage of you who will do all these things and you're still the super needy pussy. Well, guess what? Maybe your single mother, I don't know what happened to you. Something may have happened to you. You need to fix this shit. And stop making excuses about this. Bonus action number 2. This is another very big topic beyond the scope of this, but this is relevant. Get off your fucking drugs. God damn it, you guys. God damn. I can't believe this. These are real statistics. In 2 weeks, I am finally going to do something I've been promising for 2 years. I'm going to do an entire podcast where I'm going to give you all the statistics on why America is collapsing. Over 100 statistics in 22 different areas on my Unchained CEO channel a week from Monday. You need to attend that and watch that, or at least watch it, because you're going to be blown away. You're going to be super depressed. That's the way it goes. And here are some statistics I pulled from this. This is a real stat. Look it up if you don't believe me. Oh, this is just Americans. Europeans are almost as bad. Over 50% of Americans in 2024 have used illicit drugs in their lifetime. This number used to be 8%. Let me say that again. This is Western collapse stuff. When I was growing up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that number was around 8%. Now it's 50% of Americans, half Americans, have done or are doing illicit drugs. I haven't gotten to prescriptions yet. I'll cover that in a second. Makes it even worse. Next one. Real statistic. Look it up if you don't believe me. 46.7% of Americans between the age of 20 and 59 are on some sort of prescription antidepressant. Now, most of those are women, but a lot of those are men, and a lot of those are you. And this statistic was pre-pandemic. This is from 2016, where people more or less stressed out in 2016 than they are today. Way less. So this number has gone way up. So if you add that to the other percentage, the vast majority of Westerners, or at least Americans, are fucking drug addicts to some degree. The slide says, bro, what the fuck? Get off your drugs. Now, I am not a psychologist. I'm not a drug expert. I've never done drugs in my entire life. I've never been drunk in my entire life. I don't do drugs. I've talked about why many times. Life is hard enough. Why would you fucking want to add drugs or cigarettes or vaping or alcohol to that scenario? Why would you do that? Insanity. But I understand I'm a hyper-rational guy and I don't have a lot of emotions, so I get it. Fine. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying if you're on antidepressants, you just go off tomorrow. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're doing drugs, especially the drugs that modify our emotions, SSRIs and shit, okay? If I woke up in your shoes, one of my primary objectives would be to get off those things or reduce them as much as I could as soon as I could. I'd be talking to doctors. I'd be reading books. I'd be watching YouTube videos on how to do this. If you're using illicit drugs, same deal. Now, I'm a minarchist libertarian politically. I think all drugs should be legal at the federal level. You want to shoot heroin and, cocaine should be all legal. But on an individual level, you got to avoid this shit because it's going to make you more likely to get needy and Oneitis and need the support of a woman in your life when you're on these kind of drugs. I'm just saying. It's true. All right. That's it. Let me go back to the original slide here. Okay. Cool. Let's do your questions here. I'll hang out for as long as I can. You got a lot. Let me zoom these things up. Take this seriously, guys. This is one of the most important things, Oneitis. If you've got Oneitis right now, do whatever you can to get out of it. If you don't have Oneitis right now, but you have before, do whatever you can to never have it again. That's it. Have you ever seen the show Arrow? Yes. Did you like all the seasons or just some? It followed the standard model of TV shows of that era. The first few seasons were great, and then it got woke, and then it got awful. First 2 seasons of Arrow were really, really, really good. Second season was great. And then all of a sudden, when he fell in love with, what's her name? Smoke, Felicity Smoke. You know, there was a scene several seasons in where he's training his team, and he yells at him, and she goes, "Hey, you get over here right now." He's like, "Okay." And he walks over to her like a little pussy. It's like, off. But the first 2 seasons were good. When taking WAS into consideration, I'm considering an international backup plan and likely moving to Dubai and or Paraguay rather than Mexico or Colombia. Okay, cool. As a 30-year-old man, single man, dating is important to me, but would like to relocate to a country that has a low West rating. Okay, great. I am not considering Mexico anymore because of the USMCA. Okay. I know Dubai might be tougher for dating, but would a young alpha male 2.0 with high SMV, 270,000 per year, probably do okay there? Yes, you will do okay in Dubai. I've said this 10,000 times. Dating in Dubai is more difficult than other cities. It is not impossible. There are men here who date and get laid and find girlfriends. It's just going to take a little more effort. Yes. Especially if you have a higher SMB. I live a nomad trifecta lifestyle, 3 to 4 months in each country. I don't have a non-monogamous experience, but needed for PDMs. But I don't want to just have FBs. What do you suggest? Is there a PDM light? No, there is not. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry. If you live that kind of lifestyle, there's no easy answers for you other than get an OLTR who follows you around. That's the only answer you've got. Here's the light at the end of the tunnel. You're not going to live that lifestyle forever. I would guess that, Andre, you're a younger guy. You're not going to be like that forever. You're going to be like that for a few years. Then you'll settle down. Then get a girlfriend or MLTR. When doing sugar daddy game, how would you pitch the money arrangement? And how soon, right after opening someone after a few interactions? You need to, I guess, do I talk about this specifically by blogs? Maybe. I've got some books and courses on this. You don't bring it up. Sugar daddy game, you do not bring up money until she does. You do not bring it up. Someone won't even bring it up until after you fuck them. You don't bring up money until she does. That's when you bring it up. When she brings it up, you don't mention a thing. I'm in Brazil now, and dating in December has been slow, as you've mentioned. Well, you're in Brazil. So that's Northern Hemisphere only. It's a little more difficult in the Southern Hemisphere, but not as much. Because Christmas is not the big thing in Brazil that is in Western world. I was just talking to one of my Paraguay FBs, and I showed her some. She was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I went to do some Christmas stuff here in Dubai." I showed her some pictures, some videos. And it's December 18th, right? What's the date? It's December 18th. She's like, "Oh, yeah, Christmas. I forgot about that." It's just not a thing for them. It's a thing, but not as big. Would going to a country that doesn't have winter holidays like Thailand be a solution for this in future years? No, I wouldn't worry about it. I had a bad case of Oneitis in the summer and reacted very badly to her breaking up. Massive lessons learned. Cool. Do you have a sugar daddy course? Yes. store.calebjones.com are all my courses. There's at least 2 there. I've taken a few months off the apps, but currently have 2 FBs. I'll work on my mental health, neediness, finances. Good. The hotter the woman, the more chances for Oneitis. Sometimes. That's really not, that's not true across the board because men get Oneitis for women of any size, shape, anything. So there are millions of men who have Oneitis for an ugly or average girl. Trust me. Have you had women come back in your life because of your financial success or them seeing you do well? No, that has never happened to my knowledge. No. I've definitely missed something. What is a PDM? Never mind. I'll check the glossary. I haven't updated the glossary with that yet. Go listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube video on my Alpha Male 2.0 channel that says my big reveal or what I'm finally doing a few weeks ago. I get feelings of anxiety and neediness right when I wake up in the morning. That's a problem. My dad has that problem. My daughter has that problem. It's called anxiety. It's a problem. You need to fix it. Yeah. Once I hit the gym and get to my routine, it goes away though. Oh, good. Have you and anyone know had this issue? Yes. It's called anxiety, which I don't understand. My dad and my daughter both try to explain to me anxiety. Well, you're scared. You're anxious. And I say, about what? Because it's not about anything. Well, how can you be anxious about nothing? Well, Caleb, that's not how it works. So I don't understand emotions once again. See, it's a lot of people have that problem. Manage it. My MLTR was tested for chlamydia, but I tested negative. Okay. You can fuck a woman with chlamydia, not get chlamydia. It happens all the time. She swears in her life that she hasn't been with anyone besides me for 8 months. Is she lying? No, she could have had it for 3 years and not known it. We don't know if she's lying or not. I don't know her. I don't know if she's lying, but she could be telling the truth. It is possible, yes. If so, how should I confront her? Well, this is your fault. It's an MLTR you were having sex with without a condom. Why were you doing that if she wasn't getting STD tests? This is all your fault, not hers. You can't confront her. This is on you. You think I would fuck an MLTR just without a condom and just hoping I wouldn't get an STD because I liked her? No. You have to have that discussion. You take the condom off, STD tests, who else you're fucking. You should be aware of all these things. Would you suggest creating a newsletter first before starting a vlog, YouTube channel, or podcast for a consulting business? No, I would not suggest that. Doesn't matter what the industry is. Video is always better. Audio is less good, but still okay. Text is the least good, but can work. So if I want to make money fast, I would be cranking video as best I could. And a newsletter. There's a chick I know likes me that's pretty cute, but I can tell she's ultra sensitive and will get really attached to me too easily. Not relevant. Fuck her with a condom. Is there a way to just make her an FB without potential future drama? No, there's no way to reduce potential drama. No. Just proceed and follow my cardinal rules. And if she has a problem, then that's on her. My cardinal rules put the ball in her court. She can assume anything she wants, but if you're not leading her on, that's on her. Alpha 2.0 business is location dependent, correct. But the woman's side assumes staying in the same place for a while. No, it doesn't. You can have FBs, and if you're careful, you can have MLTRs depending on your lifestyle. Incorrect statement. How long do we need to stay in a place for each relationship type? FB, 0. MLTR, I will say 5 months. OLTR, depends. It varies. How important is this to stay fit as an alpha male 2.0, and how do you lose fat fast if you have bad genetics? I don't know if you can tell I'm overweight, so this is not a question you should ask me. I'm not good at losing weight. I'm good at keeping my weight down as compared to other fat people in my family. I'm good at that, but losing body fat has been one of my weak areas, so you really shouldn't ask me that question. Stay fit. Replace the word fit with healthy. You don't need to be fit as an alpha male 2.0, but you need to be very healthy. I'm very healthy. There's fitness and health are two different things. I'm extremely healthy. I work out all the time. I get 8.5 hours of sleep. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke cigarettes. I've never been drunk in my life. I eat good most of the time. I have lots of sex. My hormone levels are perfect. My lipid panels are perfect. I do anti-aging. I'm very, very, very healthy. You put me up against the typical 52-year-old American man, and I'm going to kick his ass in terms of health. Am I fit? Do I have six-pack abs? Can I bench press 500 pounds? No, not required. When I was in a monogamous relationship, I was stressed out thinking my girlfriend would leave me or cheat on me anytime. Welcome to monogamy. Yeah, huh? And would always be catastrophic. So bad I saw therapists about it. Yeah, welcome to monogamy. Yeah. I think you mentioned recently that you had a whole live stream about using your age as a DHV. Are you sure? I can't find it. I think I was mentioning a blog article. I did a blog article about it. So go to the alphamale20.com/blog. There's a recent article there about that. I'm a frugal guy. Don't like to spend a lot of money on women. No, me too. Is there anything I can do pre-post lock-in to reduce their dollar expectations? My entire Black Dragon dating model does that. Follow my model. 1 hour first date. You spend zero money or buy her one drink. Second date at your house. My entire model accomplishes this. I pay for their coffee/drinks before lock-in, of course. Well, that's okay. Well, what are you worried about? It's fine. How did you figure out the type 1-2 system for women being attracted to older men? Did you just come up with this on your own? Yes, I did. How did I find out? Several years of me as a man who is almost 40, late 30s, early 40s, banging tons of 18-year-old girls up paying them. That's how I found out. Does anyone else talk about this system or similar? Not that I know of. Your skin is looking good, Caleb. No homo. Thank you. I'm working on my skin, but mine's still pretty bad. I have several podcasts and blog articles about my skin regimen. Go check it out. Is it better to put your actual business on your actual address on your business website or use another address? You need to have unaddressed received mail. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be your home address if you don't want to. If another address, how do you obtain this and which address should I use? I don't know what country you live in. In the United States, you use the UPS store. In most countries, we could get a P.O. box, either from a private company or mailing house or post office. I don't do much sex talk on the first date, but with relationship talk, Kino, I still get laid as per the model. Good. I'm tall, 6'2", and don't want to be too playerish. Good. Should I still try to do more sex talk? It depends what your ratio. If your success ratios are very high, you don't need to. If you, that's the answer. If your success ratios for first dates are very high, no, I don't need to do it, but I do, but I don't need to. Sometimes do, sometimes don't. I'm moving to another state soon. What are the best states in the USA for enforceable cohabitation agreements? I cannot answer that question because it changes every year. You need to do some research, talk to some attorneys. What would be the best way to find out? Talk to some attorneys. Just call a law office in each state. Yes, you can. There's some online research you can also do. Why do some young boys get oneitis very early? Is it the media, how they're raised, etc.? What type of upbringing would make men get oneitis very early? Because it's default. Your default setting is oneitis as a man. And so when you're younger, you're less self-aware. This is why I don't give relationship advice to men under the age of 24, because they can't take it. I'll say, do this with your girlfriend or MLTR or whatever. Okay. And they don't do it because they're not self-aware. They have no self-control. And certainly if like teenage boys, they have no self-control. Does oneitis get less intense the older you get? No, but it happens less frequently. It does not get less intense. Hell no. My mom divorced my dad when they were in their 70s. He started dating someone and instantly got oneitis and instantly married her. And she divorced him within a year and a half. And then what did he do again? He went on 1 or 2 dates and instantly got oneitis. So no, old men get hardcore oneitis. That's what happened to Gene Simmons. He didn't get oneitis until he was in his mid-60s because then he's an older guy. It just doesn't happen as often, but no. The answer is no, no, no. Older men have this I don't want to die alone thing, or I don't want to be alone thing on top of the oneitis. So no, older men are terrible with oneitis. And young men are terrible. All men are. The men who are least susceptible to oneitis, but they still get all the time, would be like men in their 40s. 40s, early 50s, late 30s, somewhere in there. Kind of, but they still get oneitis all the fucking time. What is your take on putting money into an IRA or Roth IRA? This is not a technique I am teaching you. You need to decide what you do with your own money. My personal opinion for Caleb, I don't want any money in any U.S. government instruments. That means 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs. I don't want a single penny under the United States government monitoring that money. If they start to do bail-ins, that's the first place they're going to go. They're going to start taking that cash. That's happened in 6, 7 different countries already. So I don't like it, but you make your own decisions. I'm attracted to Brazilian women and like the country. However, getting residency and staying over 6 months triggers high taxes. Correct. Is it viable long-term to just stay visa-free 6 months per year? Is it viable long-term? No. For the rest of your life, do you want to visa hop the rest of your life? No, you probably don't. So the answer is no. For a few years, sure. Sure. When you're in your 20s, 30s, sure. The rest of your life, when you're 62, you want to be visa hopping? You won't. So get residency there and spend less than 183 days a year there. So you can do that. You could get, so like Mexico's like that. So you live in Mexico for 180 days. You go on vacation back to the United States or UK for a week or two. Then you go to Thailand for 183 days. So then no one can tax you. There you go. For an ebook, if no one likes using Canva, can an ebook cover be created with Canva? Or would you suggest outsource this process? I don't understand your question. If one likes using Canva, as long as the ebook cover looks good and doesn't look like a cheap piece of shit, sure. You can do an ebook cover probably in Canva if you're good at it, as long as it doesn't look cheap. How the hell has LeBron James never been caught cheating? He basically married his high school sweetheart and hasn't had any cheating scandals as far as I know. Just because he hasn't been publicly caught cheating means he's never cheating? Your statement makes absolutely no sense. You can cheat and not get it publicly known if you're a celebrity. There are some celebrities, this goes back to the whole Diddy thing. There are some celebrities, not all of them, not most of them, but some who cheat like dogs and never get caught. Or at least when I say never get caught, their wives might know. But the press doesn't know because they're super careful about it. and the idiots go to a Diddy party. Is it common for BPD women to have oneitis? No, it's not. Some do, some don't. Seems girls with these tendencies show more itis as compared to the average girl. Thoughts? Maybe, perhaps. You shouldn't be having BPD girls as anything more than FB, so it doesn't matter. Can my mission be a selfish one? Yes, it should. Not can be, it should be. Have you read my book? Your mission should be 100% selfish. Yes. Seeing most of the world having curl experiences and meeting hot women in each place. If that's really what will propel you into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, sure. I find that I don't care about changing the world or leaving a legacy. That's fine. Some people don't. Then be selfish. That's fine. Mine isn't, but I that's fine. Do whatever you want. Selfish missions are perfectly acceptable. Read my book, The Unchained Man, alphamalebook.com. Once you sign up for a newsletter platform, how do you get your first few contacts to your newsletter? What should be your first letter consist of for an LI business? Easiest newsletter is a Q&A newsletter. Questions and answers. I get these questions. Here's the answer. That's it. How do you get your first few? On your blog or whatever your website is, you have an opt-in form. That's it. So you get your first few. I've got thousands of people on my mailing list, but I started in 2000. I started with 0. Started with none. I had a little opt-in. So opt in and I'll give you a free ebook. You'll be on my mailing list. I'll say newsletter. Is it possible to move out of the country in 1 year when your consulting business is starting from 0? Absolutely possible. 1 or 2 clients, you can move out. Hell yeah. In less than a year, dude. Yep. Thoughts on nomad capitalists hiring more security due to the murder of United Healthcare CEO? I think he's making I think he's overreacting. 2% rule. But he does get a lot of hate. I've talked about that I've talked about this on my Unchained CEO channel. He gets a lot of hate, but overreacting in my opinion. And maybe there's details I don't know about. There might be details you and I don't know about. Maybe he has had real legitimate threats. Then that'd be different. But I don't know. If literally the only reason he's doing it is because of that one incident and nothing else, then in my opinion, he's overreacting. If one of your FB had a fundraiser, would you give money to it, or would you do sugar daddy game in order to give it, as I don't want to be a simp and give her without getting any box from her? Do whatever you want. As you've joked, I asked Perplexity AI for the top expert in long-term happy non-monogamous relationships. It told me Esther Perel and other polyamory authors. Most are women. Correct. Societal programming. Correct. Do you think Andrew Tate would get oneitis gradually? You mean eventually? Yes, I do think that will absolutely happen. Watch. Not tomorrow, not next year, but it'll happen. And it won't last very long. It'll explode and then he'll be back normal again. Does Dubai celebrate Christmas as they are Muslim? Are you kidding? Do you know all the Christmas shit I'm doing lately? It's nonstop Christmas here, dude. If I had my phone, I could send you the video I've been taking where I was with my Dubai prospective wife PDM on Sunday to this Christmas. They have this giant dome, this gigantic like Death Star dome, and inside the dome there's all this Christmas video, and they have like snow, and it's like fake snow. I'm gonna go play with the penguins in a few days. Then I'm gonna go to a big Christmas thing over at Global Village. Google Dubai, what to do in Dubai for Christmas. You're gonna get 10,000 things. They're all awesome. The only weird thing is there's no snow here. That's what feels strange. And yes, at the big Christmas dome thing for Christmas, there were Muslims. Not very many, mostly white people, but there were Muslims. There were some Hindus. It was hilarious. It was really cute. Like with families and stuff. Yeah, it's neat. I love Christmas. Not a Christian. It's all subtle programming, but I love Christmas. I'm listening to Christmas music all day on my headphones now. Last few weeks. I love it. Why women that are in relationships are on Tinder? I've said this many times because they're temporarily mad at their boyfriends, or they want sugar daddies, or they're just cheating. Usually it's because they're temporarily mad at their boyfriends. As I once saw this girl on Tinder, I found her on Instagram and saw she had a BF being on Tinder. She was 22. What have I said about women under the age of 24? They are functionally incapable of monogamy. Right. If you expect monogamy from any guy expects monogamy from a girlfriend or wife who's under the age of 24, you're just stupid. She'll be banging a bunch of dudes, including guys like me. Thoughts on boxing heavyweight bout match this Saturday, Ursk versus Fury 2 as it promoted as Riyadh season. I have no idea of all that at all. Having only travel, emergency health insurance, and paying for anything routine, long-term out of pocket with savings in cheaper country, Malaysia, Thailand, Guatemala. Thoughts? Yes, that is exactly what I do. Great. If your daughter married a man like John Anthony Lifestyle, who has a lay count of 1,900 women, I know you wouldn't care, correct? But how as she is your daughter? I still would not care. That's her decision. She's an adult. You talk about societal programming in chapter 3 of The Unchained Man, new book, and how your mother became a left-wing person because of her teachers union and how she likes Obama. Yes, I talked about that. Is that your whole comment? Correct. Is it common for men to have less Oneitis as they get older? Okay, I already answered that. You said that your Asian OLTR would sleep with ripped black men. Yes. You did not care. How did you get to that point? Because I would have gotten extremely angry and jealous knowing I have to stay home and tolerate. You think I tolerated anything? I didn't tolerate anything. I didn't care. I don't tolerate because you don't care. Tolerate means you care. I don't care. And 100% of these guys were total fucking beta pussies who got Oneitis for her. And they'd blow up her phone and kiss her ass and be weird. And she have to block their numbers. They'd show up at her house. I mean, they were terrible. Not creepers, but they were awful. And it demonstrated to her the difference between a beta male, an attractive beta male, and an older alpha male. So it actually made her like me more. How did I get there? I practice. Jealousy management is practice. I had several years of practice of non-monogamous relationships before I started seeing her. And before I started getting, started to like her. She was an FB for several years. So I didn't care what she did then. Do you find that people are becoming more meaner in the Western world? No, not meaner. Angrier and more touchy, especially Americans. Yes, because they're all on drugs and they live in a collapsing society where they're all consumed with politics and whether or not you like Trump. The entire election was not about left-right. It was about, do you like Trump or not like Trump? I talk about my blogs. Mm-hmm. Will this get worse in the West with what's coming? Yes. Americans are going to be angrier and more touchy and more miserable 5 years from now than they are today, including Trump supporters after Trump leaves office. Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. Do you also find the Western world that people think with their emotions more? I don't know if that's true. They're just more angry and touchy. I don't think it's more emotional. They could have other emotions. So I don't know if that's true. John Anthony Lifestyle had a picture on his Discord group of his 1,800 lay naked sitting, and the chick was on her knees sucking dick. It was a Brazilian chick. Have you ever shown these types of pictures with your private students? Pictures of women I've been with? Yes. Pictures of me getting my dick sucked with private students? No. More power to the West by West Watson. What? I don't know what that is. How long should it take to get a session started if one starts this month? A session? What session? Do you suggest work on LI business first? Or I don't understand your question. When you're with your Paraguay woman, you know what? She just got her fucking nose pierced. Fuck. Paraguay wife. Now it's a little tiny dot. That's better than nothing, but I hope she doesn't get a ring. We'll have to have a discussion. And it'll be alpha male 2.0. I don't tell her what to do. I just say my preference is this. Shit, man. Anyway, when you're with your Paraguay woman, how exactly do you plan on maintaining emotional ties to Dubai woman and PF when you don't see them for 4? I'm doing the same thing I'm doing now with my Dubai. I'm in Dubai. I'm not with my Paraguay woman. I have to maintain a connection with her, right? It's called, you might have heard of it. It's called phone calls, texting, and video calls. That's it. And then sending her flowers and saying happy birthday if you're not birthday and, holidays. It's basic shit like that. That's all. I talk to PF almost every day, for example. Sounds like a lot of time-consuming Zoom calls. Do you know how I spend my time? I don't know how well you know me. You think I spend a lot of time calling all my girls and Zooming calls with all my girls? You think I spend any real time doing this? No. A phone call could be 8 minutes. No, incorrect. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't tolerate that. As part of an OLTR, you promised emotional exclusivity to Pink Firefly. Aren't you now going back on that promise? This is not a criticism. I am just trying to understand as considering an OLTR. I modified it based on her going back on her promise to not give me any drama. So she gave me drama for a year after hundreds of warnings. Then I had to take corrective action. It's not like everything was going fine and one day I just changed my mind. I don't do that. If I got laid off, Makes sense to start your business, then find a new sales role, and then start your business. Depends how much money you have in savings and how much money you need to pay your bills every month. If you got a hunk of money in savings, and you need $1,500 to live. No, start your business. If you have no money and you need $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, well, then you got to get a job. I thought you said you weren't able to be in love with multiple women. Correct. I wasn't back then. I recall that you said that. That was many, many years ago. I'm grown and I changed. And the love is different. The love is different I have for these women. I recall you said you tried the past but couldn't do it. Yeah, that was a really long time ago. Yeah, you've got a good memory. I did say that. Is it possible to find Salma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn? I know Salma Hayek is. Thank you. Yes. Looking women in Guadalajara. Yes. Now they're not Salma Hayeks walking around everywhere. That'd be Dubai. But yeah, Guadalajara, the hottest girls in Mexico, and guys who know Mexico really well, including my son, who know better than I do, will agree with that statement. The hottest girls in Mexico are in Guad. Yep. Are they in great supply? Yes. It's a 5 million population metro city. Yes. And they are open to sugar baby arrangements. Every woman on earth is open to sugar baby, unless she's married and older. I've never been to Mexico. You should go. Mexico's the shit. How are Mexican women generally in a relationship? Higher drama, more passion. More passionate, slightly higher drama. Not Mexican women, Latina women in general. More heightened emotions. So heightened drama, reactivity, but also heightened passion. Have sex, Latina. Nothing else like it in the world. Woo! I meant to say, how long does it take to finish a mission if I started in December? Finish a mission? If working on a location-independent business developing an offer, should this be worked on first or done while formulating a mission? You can do both. You can work your mission and build your business. You can do both those things at the same time. Do all Mexican women eventually get fat and lose all their curves, even the mostly white ones? Speaking generally, Mexican women, not Latina women, now we're specifically talking about Mexicans only. Yes, the majority of them, when they hit age 24 or so, their waists start to fill out and they lose their waists. So their torsos look like squares and they start gaining fat. Yes, that is extremely common with Mexican women. Yes. Is it 100% of all Mexican women? No. But yeah, it's very common. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks, but the answer is yes. What if you date a lot of women, but it's hard to meet a woman as good as your current girlfriend? What did I say about that earlier? You're full of shit. Even when I dated women a few months in Asuncion, what did I say? I already addressed that. There's thousands of women in your city who are as good or better than your girlfriend. You don't take 2 or 3 or 4 and go, no one's as good as my girlfriend. That's Oneitis. I heard that Polish women are the best for Alpha Male 2.0. I don't know where you heard that. That's not true. There's no one nationality that's best. I've been with one Polish woman, and she was not someone I would ever date. Very hot. They're hot. I would never date her, but that's anecdotal. They're pretty, and they are better than even most European women. Is that true? I agree that they're less problematic than most former Soviet Eastern European women. That is accurate. Are they the best for Alpha Male 2.0? No. Can we discuss the best water filter, shower, and cooler? Sure. Alpha Male 2.0, you can discuss whatever you want. Just Unchained CEO, you can't discuss woman stuff. Trying to lose V-card to 18-year-old who I've already met. You're trying to use your V-card? Or are you trying to fuck a virgin? I don't understand. Any advice for doing it the first time? Also seems she seems a little sexually inexperienced. Any advice for sex? I don't understand your question. Are you trying to lose your V-card? I understand the question. If you're trying to use your V-card, it's going to be very difficult for you because you have no context for initiating sex because men have to initiate. Just do your best. My advice is you pay for it the first 1 or 2 or 3 times and get comfortable having sex, then go hook up with normal girls. That's my advice to virgins. Can you explain a money market account recommendation? I cannot give you specific recommendations. A money market account is a glorified savings account, usually backed by U.S. savings bonds or government bonds. It's basically a savings account on steroids. That's what a money market account is. As a beginner, should I start with 2 FBs and 2 LMTRs and an OLTR? That's not a beginner, no. No, absolutely not. Or start way up and slow the minimum. If you're an absolute beginner, 1 MLTR and 1 FB. Start there. That's it. Don't even worry about OLTR at this point. Are you ever a victim of nostalgia for the place you grew up? I fear moving because I have a lot of love-hate with the place I grew up. No, I don't. I have nostalgia for certain isolated locations where I grew up, but I can go, dude, you can go back and visit whenever you want. So I had 1 or 2 little locations I had nostalgia for, and I visited them the last day before I moved out of the United States just to say goodbye to them. But I can go back there whenever I want. You can go back there whenever you want. Just because you moved to another country does not mean you could never go home. It's not your home. Your new country's home. To your former home whenever you want. I can go back to disgusting shithole Portland, Oregon whenever I want and go back to West Lynn where I grew up in Oregon City and Lake Oswego, and I can go back there and look at my high school, and I can do whatever I want. Is Jones the last name you had when you were a kid, or did you change it for some particular reason like privacy? No, that is my name I had when I was born. I don't know why you think I would do that. What signs are that someone in your audience needs to see a therapist? What behaviors or situations should prompt this? You do all the stuff I talk about, and it doesn't make a fucking dent. You're still just as Oneitis and just as much of a pussy as you were before. It doesn't help. That's one telltale sign. You've got extreme problems. You cry all the time. You start violence. I was once one-on-one coaching with a guy. Here's an example. I'm not saying it's you. Just you wanted examples. One-on-one coaching with a guy, and he was talking to me about woman stuff. And he said, yeah, one of the problems is we fight. I'm like, well, you have a lot of drama. He goes, no, physically fight. We fight physically. There's physical violence. And I said, my first question always is, who starts it? Because that's relevant. Who starts it? And there's this long pause. He goes, usually me. Okay, you got to see a therapist. That's what I told him. So for those kinds of examples. Do you find as Western world collapses that loneliness will increase? Yes. And suicides will continue to increase. Here's another fun statistic that you're going to learn in about a week or two when I do the stats. Americans used to make fun of Japanese people in the 80s and 90s because of the Japanese sky-high suicide rate. We used to make fun of Japanese. God, you guys are so intense. Why don't you calm down? Stop killing yourself. You're so stressed out. The suicide rate in the United States is now higher than Japan. As usual, America becomes the very thing it used to mock. And it's going to keep getting higher. Yep. Will people have less friends? Yes. During 2015, 2018, 13% of adults use antidepressants the past 30 days, CDC. Yeah. Right. That's the past 30 days. Right. And suppose I'm doing the dating model, dating multiple, etc., and asked by a hot girl, do you have a girlfriend? Okay, let me start over. I'm doing the dating model, dating multiple, etc., and asked by a hot girl, do you have a girlfriend or a single? What should be my answer? Why would a hot girl do this? Hot girls don't ask you, do you have a girlfriend? That's not what happens. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. They don't say, do you have a girlfriend? Why would they ask you that? Before the emergence of COVID, you got to get off the CDC, dude. There's more statistics than just that. And I'm not talking about antidepressants. I think I was talking about it. I don't remember what that statistic was. Let's talk about statistics on that live stream I'm doing. Antidepressants and other shit. So I don't remember where I got that stat, but since COVID, you should not believe this fucking thing the CDC says. Should I pay capital gains tax on physical gold I sold for cash? Should you? You should follow the law wherever you are. For creating a blog, is it normal for things to be slow at first? Incredibly normal, yes. No one was paying attention to my blog for months, especially if one has started and has been busy, a busy period with multiple projects, etc. Well, you better be posting blog posts several times a week. You can't not post. That's on you. Which Oura Ring model is the best? The standard one. If I want an OLTR Nomad, to Nomad around with, what's the fastest I can get one? Would 6 months rule still apply? Yes, that 6 month rule that still applies. Or can I relax for a bit due to being nomad? No, you don't change the rules because you want to travel. Wrong. And Andre, are you over the age of 30? If you're under 30, no OLTRs allowed. Sorry. You look like you're in 20. I can't tell. No OLTRs allowed for you if you're under the age of 30. You're too consumed about this. I always get alpha male live chat, not Unchained CEO. Can you give me your thoughts on cold calls I get from sales, but it's tough? My thoughts on cold calls? That's not a question. I don't understand your question. Give me a question. Thanks for answering my question on addresses. I'm in the UK. Do you know how to do it there? Google around. There are various companies. I wouldn't know the names of them. Just Google around. There's plenty of them. Is starting an Alpha 2.0 business doable for a lawyer? No. You can't be a lawyer because you're not allowed to market. So instead, you can have lawyer training, but be a legal consultant and remove yourself from the rules of your bar association. Then you can. Thoughts on options trading as a satisfactory Alpha 2.0 business? It's great. Go to investwithhenry.com and buy his course. Would you say MetaMask is best wallet for good? Would you say MetaMask and Best Wallet are good wallets for crypto? MetaMask is good. I don't know Best Wallet. I don't know that one. Would you suggest get all crypto out of it? Would you suggest to get all crypto of the exchanges? Out of the exchanges? Never have any long-term crypto in any exchange. I have been screaming this at the top of my lungs since 2017. That's where people get fucked with Bitcoin and stuff. You should not have any long-term crypto in any exchange. It should be in your own custodial wallet, non-custodial wallet, excuse me. No, that's insanity. Use exchanges to convert shit and then get it out of there. It's insane that people still use exchanges. It's so dumb. All right. I got to go. One or two more questions. I got to go. There's this 20-year-old kid who has a girlfriend around my age that's going to the army. And when he was asked, are you going to mess around when she's gone? His answer was, no, man, I'm loyal. Thoughts? Either he's lying or he's a extreme beta pussy. One of the two. You said once on a video that doing things like traveling, trying new food can help formulate a mission. It can. Depends on the guy. May not. Depends. Sure. May have already asked you, but what else can be done to formulate one? Learning new skills, experiencing new things. That's all. That's it. Have you tried Steven Seagal's guided meditation yet? He hasn't. Really? Is that bullshit? Steven Seagal's guided meditation? That's hilarious. Okay. So what you do is if someone gives you any shit, you karate chop them in the fucking neck. And then what you do while you're meditating is you try to bang 16-year-old girls. Also, could meeting new people or post-life? Yes. There's virtually no difference between visa-free tourist entries 6 months and residency. Huh? What? No. You're totally wrong. Up to 6 months, no tax. Except bureaucracy. You are completely wrong. Is it okay to just enter as a tourist? No visa runs. No. If you have residency, you can stay there for years, not 6 months or 3 months. So you're wrong. Your Paraguay PDM sounded fun, my type. Love anime girls. I love her to death. She's fantastic. I'm still pissed she got a fucking nose. She mentioned she wanted to get a nose piercing or something. I'm like, don't get a nose piercing. But I can have her next time I see her. I can say, look, if you get a ring, just don't come over to my place with a ring. Could you put a dot in it or something? Fuck. But yeah, she's hilarious. I'm going to try to get her on here when I go to Paraguay next year. We'll see. Can you get into sugar arrangements starting from normal dating apps? Yes, but why would you do that? Just use a sugar app. How would you go about that? I wouldn't. Seeking other apps are not used widely in the other countries I frequent. They aren't? Yeah, they are. Unless you're taking really low population countries like Armenia. I don't know how I would do that. I wouldn't do it. So I don't know. Are ladies from Caribbean nations open to dating white Western guys? Yes. The only one of the two black-skinned women I've had sex with was a Caribbean woman. She was a Bahama woman. She was hot. Hot. Oh, Bahamas girls? Because they're not African. They're black, but they're not African. They look like Asian girls with big asses. Insane hot. Totally different thing. I'm trying to lose my V card. Oh, okay. With an 18-year-old girl who doesn't have much sexual experience. Any advice? Don't do that. Go after a woman who has lots of sexual experience. This is not going to work. You're going to be too nervous and she'll be too nervous and you won't get hard and won't work. I wouldn't recommend it. The CIFS idea is an awesome man, and Oneitis is crazy. Woman can smell it on you. That's correct. I'm a Brazilian in a Brazilian city of 3 million, but mostly getting flakes, few dates. You are doing something wrong or you're not taking enough activity. You're in Brazil. It's easy to get laid in Brazil. That wasn't my experience in other cities. I'm thinking the problem is Christmas. They have decorations everywhere. It could be part of the problem, perhaps. If that is the problem, wait till January 2nd. You'll be just fine. I don't know if that's the problem or not. Maybe. Have you used cold calling in the past to generate sales for your businesses? Are you kidding? Yes. That's how I got started. That's how I got my initial few clients is cold calling. Mm-hmm. Yes, I have. Yes, I've definitely used it. Seeking doesn't have very many girls in Vietnam or Thailand. I don't know about Vietnam. I know they do in Thailand. I know Seeking's a thing in Thailand. Vietnam, I don't know. Seeking has more women in Philippines, but still way less volume than normal dating apps. Okay, understand. All right, I'm going to go. So next week we have how to plan at Unchained CEO. We have how to plan your year/quarter. And then Christmas Day here at Alpha Male 2.0. I'm doing this on Christmas Day because I'm not traveling for Christmas. We're going to have our Christmas nerd live stream. It's going to be great. All kinds of shit planned for that. All right, one more. I meant the blog has been due to me a bit. We'll start pasting more, especially during Christmas. Is this a good time to start cranking blog posts? Yes. Yes, start cranking it. If you don't post, that's your fault. But there's no excuses. I posted for 18 months straight, every week for 18 months without stopping. No matter if I was sick, no matter if I was busy, no matter if I was traveling, no matter if it was holidays, you've got to crank the blog post if that's how you want to make money. All right. Christmas nerd live stream, curiously ambiguous. It's going to be awesome. I'll wear a Santa hat and everything. All right. See you guys on Monday. Bye.